Do you guys remember the first time you both met?
I tried to block that out of my mind. No, we do, because nobody knew who the hell he was when he walked in the room. Is that what you're going to say, Blake? That meeting?
That meeting was the first time I met a lot of people who went on to be, big influences in my life, because it was a meeting at NBC Universal, and you guys have seen this building, right there at Universal, at the Universal Studios lot. There's that high-rise building that's like, the secret building or whatever, and at the top of that was the very first ever production meeting for The Voice, and I got there on time, and I think Carson may have been there too. So it was the first time I met Carson, the day that I met Adam, the day that I met Christina Aguilera and CeeLo, and the network people and the producers of the show that I, went on to continue working with for the next 12 years now. So it's easy for me to remember that day, because Carson, it was like he was the least important person there, and has continued to be that in my life.
That's right. I was the least person of status in that room until you walked in. And I remember finally they're going to ask that guy to valet park Mark Burnett's car, not me. So I was relieved. But it's funny, we joke about it, but when we met Blake, you have to remember The Voice. What was going on in when did it start? 2002, I think. I mean, it was like really.
Oh my God!
Wow.
2011.
2000 was it 11?
2002. Yeah. We were graduating high school.
So 2000. So 2010 or something. American Idol is the juggernaut of all things in American television. More people are voting for the finale of American Idol at the time than they're voting for the president of the United States.
Wow.
I mean,
that's the sort of viewership that show is spitting out. So watching people sing on television is at a premium. So much so that every network is trying to get one of these shows. And Fox had one called The X Factor that was working very well in Europe. And Fox America was rumored to be fast tracking that format to bring it into America, to add into the American Idol mix. NBC wanted to get into the game and went to Holland. Holland is a country of 1 million people, and it was a very important territory because Holland was the only place that had both their version of American Idol and X Factor on, and they also had a third show with these big giant red chairs turned around, and it was called The Voice. They had 3 singing shows. And so Mark Burnett and these guys from NBC went to Holland, like literally went over there to watch it. And The Voice came on, and it beat both of these other shows in the ratings by like a long shot.
Wow.
And so they bought the format right then and there, brought it back to the States, and basically landed, and then called Mark Burnett, who's the most prolific television producer. And they fast-tracked this thing. Like, they earmarked a ton of money. They wanted to beat X Factor coming to the marketplace. So I was one of the first people on the ground floor of The Voice. So who are going to be these coaches? They have to be the best names in music. Who's the voice of my generation? Undoubtedly Christina Aguilera. I mean, she just is. She was. And then CeeLo, and then the rock star Adam. And so we had to hurry, though. We had to hurry to get to air. We're going to start shooting. We're going to shoot for the fences and try and beat Idol and this other show. But we were one coach short, and we couldn't find anybody. And so somebody threw like a dart. They're like, who cares who we get? Let's just get anybody. One of these sort of things. And then it was this guy, Blake Shelton, who nobody had heard of, except I think like 50 people in Nashville, I think, had heard of him. And so he came in.
Blake, we used to play your music in high school.
And then we shot the show immediately. And 12 years later, nobody's had a bigger bounce on that show than this nobody, Blake Shelton. He's now the biggest celebrity on earth. Isn't that crazy?
I agree. It is crazy. You are like America's sweetheart, Blake.
Oh, is that right?
World sweetheart.
Right?
You are. Yes. But it's
America's
crazy.
sweetheart. I love it.
America's sweetheart. You are. But it is crazy because I do feel like The Voice, like, it exploded so quick, but everyone instantly became like massive stars. Like it was just so fun. I mean, I watched it all the time.
Well, Carson, you were already iconic.
Yeah. I mean, TRL, don't even get us started. We
Yeah.
watched all the time. I don't think anyone ever missed TRL.
Oh, well, thank you. That was a good time. I mean, Voice was just like, because I was a radio DJ, they were like, I hated American Idol personally because I didn't like the way that they made fun of people. I didn't understand what was so funny about somebody who wasn't a great singer and like bursting their dreams. I also was like, who are these people to be judging them? Like, are they big singer? You know, so when The Voice, their whole idea was like, no, we're not going to make fun of people. We're actually going to find really good singers. We're going to get really qualified musicians to not be judges, but be coaches. And we're going to try and inspire and all that. That's why I really wanted to do the show. So I
love that. Yeah. And when you guys met, did you guys just immediately start roasting each other? Was it just like that bromance at first sight, or
pretty quick? He was married to Adam at the time. So I watched them.
You guys left Blake or Carson out?
You know, Carson wasn't, it's interesting. I think Carson and I, we did hit it off the bat. I mean, I think we knew we were going to be buddies, but I just didn't see Carson as much back then, you know, as I saw and worked with the other coaches, and it would still be that way probably if we didn't go out of our way to find each other's dressing rooms or hang out when the show's not even on the air, you know, because, you know, Carson as the host of the show, he's in a different lane. So we seem like when he walks up on the stage and he's reading the teleprompter, and it's just as easy for him to go away. And so we kind of over the years have just become closer and closer, and you know, so to your point, it has become like this bromance, because we can't be away from each other. We try to find each other backstage and drink and make fun of, you know, the other coaches behind their back.
And that's how Armageddon came about, because during COVID, The Voice never stopped. And then we used to be able to bring like people, you know, like families or like agents or like makeup or assistants or, you know, whatever your squad is, whatever. And they killed all that. You're only allowed to bring one person. And that was pretty much people's like makeup artists, you know. And so Blake and I ended up spending, you know, remember there's 2 seasons of The Voice in one calendar year. So by default, basically he's like, if I were in jail, he would be like the guy who just happened to be in the cell next to me, you know? Like, hey man, are you still awake over there? Yeah. Tell me a story. Yeah, but then we really started hanging, and I tried to eat sort of healthy, and all Blake would order is Buffalo Wild Wings. So I loved to eat lunch with him, and I would just basically ignore my salad and eat all of his wings with him. And then we came up with Armageddon.
Yeah.
I love that. So when Brie and I love us some wings.
Oh gosh, yeah. I think the only time I've ever eaten wings on set is at Armageddon. When we had a little break, I like smashed wings. I'm like, I can't believe I'm in my outfit smashing wings right now, but they were delicious. But I'm curious, when you guys want to have like a night out, like Nicole and I will always text and be like, ooh, let's go grab some wine, and we'll try to find like a cute lounge. Well, what's your text exchange when you guys want to go out? Are you like, oh, let's go grab a couple beers, or let's just hang out? Like, I would love to know.
It's always going to a house. It's never let's go out somewhere. Like, and Carson can't make it very long either, by the way. I wish you would have been there the other day, Brie. I know you were busy, but you know, when we had the premiere party, Carson literally, Nikki can confirm this, was literally in his pajamas at the party by 9:45 and left.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
That
is a true thing.
There's not a lot of let's go partying if you're friends with Carson. It's more like, hey, how about brunch?
Yeah.
Brunch. And then
how about the early bird special?
Yep. Carson, I feel like he's like one of those when you're at a party and then it's like 9:00 hits and he's like, oh, I need to go grab my phone, like, or what a girl would use as a purse, and then he's just gone.
Irish exit, dude. I'm the king of it. I'm
the
king of it. Because no one's going to remember. Everybody gets like caught up in the events of the evening and having fun. It's not like they wake up the next day when there was 75 people in the room and their first thought is, where'd that Carson Daly go? Did I ever say goodbye to him last? Like no one does that. Like I saw him, he was there at some point. But yeah, no, Blake's right. We usually do hang out. Well, Blake got so famous so fast. And I think it was even before Gwen. Remember we went to dinner in LA that one time and Blake wouldn't go to we had to find a restaurant where he could go through the kitchen because there was paparazzi in LA and all that kind of stuff. And we went to Batali's restaurant, I think. Was that night? I don't know. When we do try and go out in LA, it's just a pain in the ass because of the paparazzi chasing him. So we usually go to a house and hang out.
Which is always better.
It is.
I always prefer being at houses. I mean, it's nice to I love ambiance. So I do like to hear people's chatter and laughing. Like I do love energy.
We love vibes.
Yeah, we do. But sometimes when you're at a house, it's cozy and nice and you can be in your PJs and have a drink and no makeup on, which feels good.
And it's just peaceful.
It is, especially with kids. I feel like then the kids can run around and I'm not stressed out and it feels better.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of kids, is there any advice you guys have as dads? Like for new moms? Like raising kids? Because your guys' kids are older. And so I'm curious, here we have 2-year-olds where you have a 2 and a 5.
A wild one. I got a wild boy.
Both.
And my girl's easy.
Well, there's different perspectives. I lost my dad when I was young. And then I had a stepdad come into my life who I had to accept, I called him, his name was Richard, and I called him Richard for a while just to kind of see what this guy was all about. I was 8. And then just by him being a great dude, I remember the day when I went to my mom, my sister and I had a little meeting in my room. I was 8 and she was 11. And I go, I think I really like this guy. It's been a year maybe. And she's like, I really like him too. I go, I think I'm ready to call him dad. And she goes, I am too. And then we went and told my mom, and my mom started to cry. And then she's like, well, let's tell him at dinner. And then at dinner, my mom said, kids, do you have something to say to Richard? We're like, can we call you dad? And he and so anyway, that's a father perception or perspective that, maybe Blake's experiencing a little bit of that with Gwen's kids. But I had that with my stepdad and then my biological dad who died when I was young, but I always say God gave me 2 wonderful fathers. So I feel like parenting is, whether it's motherhood or fatherhood, is just really about the relationship that you create with the young person, whether you're a father figure or an actual parent or a guardian or a best friend or whatever. It's really, I always try and talk to my kids like they're 30 years old. My wife's like, really? She's 8. She doesn't understand that. I go, you know what? She'll intellectually rise to the occasion. I'm always trying to make everything a teachable moment because, and like Blake, we love to be with our families. Our families actually spend a lot of time together. Blake's extended family with Gwen and his family too on his side, and my family, and we just have fun. I mean, at the epicenter of Barmageddon, or at the epicenter of Blake and I's friendship, if we had to narrow it down to one word, it's fun. Like Blake and I, our biggest commonality is that even though we come from different parts of the world, we see the world, I think, through very similar eyes, but our priorities are very similar. And that's not forgetting where we come from, showing respect to our fellow mankind and love of family and not being afraid to put in a hard day's work. These are simple things that Blake and I hold in high value, but we like to have fun, man.
You guys do. You guys are so
at an insurance seminar and I sat next to Blake. I mean, we would be laughing we'd find a way to ruin it and have fun. And I see that in my parenting style, and I see that in Blake's.
Gosh, that's beautiful, Carson. When I was on set, I have to say it was the one time where I didn't want it to end. Yeah. I really wanted it to keep going. And it's because that's the energy you guys do bring to set is just fun. You're down to earth. I'll admit, I was really nervous to talk to you two. And you guys were the easiest people to talk to. And I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, should I go up and say something to them? Or is that overstepping? And you guys are just so warm. And it was probably my favorite set I've ever been on.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't want it to end. It was so fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I say we get into our game.
Yes. We got 10 minutes left. Let's do this.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We
have a game.
We usually do it with alcohol, but it's early in the morning. So.
And I have to go to my kids' Christmas play.
You're going to go to that sober?
Yeah, she's Mother Mary in a play. So
oh yeah, you better be. Be on your best
behaved.
You can't miss that.
She was practicing her songs this morning.
Oh.
And I had to set out her outfit.
I wish I could go.
I know.
I'm so bummed.
Those are like the fun little things to do. I can't wait. All right.
Okay. So the game we're going to play, we're calling it Bromageddon.
Mm-hmm.
And we're celebrating, of course, the biggest bromance with a special game that's all about you two. Mm-mm. So what is it? It's just like Newlyweds Game, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so first question, who's better at keeping the family group text going?
Oh, I think I am.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Wait a minute, are we supposed to write our answers down and then like show them, or what, is that how we do it?
We can just talk.
Okay.
Make it easier.
Yeah, I actually take the time, to take a picture and put like a nudifier app on it and make it look like Carson's balls is hanging out of his pants or something.
That's so good.
And then send it to the family. I'll actually go take 15 minutes out of my day to make him look stupid on there, where he'll just write like, LOL or
wow.
He's very busy down there in his bar at his house.
I'm shocked. I'm in shock when I get those pictures of all sorts of anatomy and weird things that you find at your ranch when you're walking around bored, trying to change light bulbs or put hay out or corn, or whatever he thinks he's farming. But Gwen just goes to the market and buys like chickens and stuff, like buys food like you and I buy food. And bacon and all just regular food, but they live on like 900 acres of farmland. And it's like, well, where's the farm food? And they Blake
I love it.
But he's starting to plant those fields, right? We see that on Instagram.
That's planning integration. That's not in real life.
Carson doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, but he's good. He does keep it. He's good on the old text with something weird.
I like that.
Okay, our next question. Which one of you gives better gifts?
Oh, Blake's Christmas gifts, which is he can't take any credit for, literally showed up last night. So this one's fresh in my mind. But his lovely wife, the best Stefani Shelton alive, Gwen, a giant box. Presents for all the kids, presents for us, presents individually wrapped. Incredible what Gwen is.
So cute.
He rides Gwen's generosity, Christmas gift-giving shine.
I wrapped that, dude. I was in here rapping my face off, getting
bullshit
Christmas. What are you talking about?
I feel like my husband too. Like I'm always the one who loves to do it all, and then I always like send it to his family, and then like he'll get a text, and I'm always like riding my coattails. I did all that.
You do. You're like
but I'm like an
Pinterest
elf.
mom.
I like love it. It's like
you have to see her house. It's like Santa's village.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
she goes
wild
into the holidays. I'm a holiday nerd.
Brie, will you please be in a Hallmark movie, a Christmas movie? You'd be great.
Yeah, I would. Oh my gosh, yeah. I should do that.
Like it's a headlock Christmas or something like that.
Oh yes.
Oh wow.
I'll produce it for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it, Blake. We're going to do that.
Speaking of gifts from Blake, this is the kind of gift that Blake gives. This is Raccoony. Raccoony used to live on the countertop at Blake's Ranch in Oklahoma. Yeah. And when we were there, my then probably 6-year-old was scared of dogs and would always stay up on the counter and sat next to this raccoon. And my 6-year-old and Raccoony developed a relationship over the week. So much so when we left, Blake said, take Raccoony with you. Just take him with you. Bring him on the plane. Take him. That's the kind of gifts this guy gives. He gives some guys give the shirt off their back. He gives the raccoon off their ledge.
I love it.
The gift of taxidermy.
I actually don't even think I've ever seen a stuffed raccoon before.
Yeah, I think that's the first time.
They're very real.
Very
oh my gosh. It's actually a pretty one.
Here's my housekeeper to death every time she comes down to the bar.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing. I love that the gift was meant for the 6-year-old too.
Oh my God.
Like, good kiss.
I've always wanted to look at them up close, so I'm happy I get that now.
Oh my gosh.
Different kind of gift.
So who would you say is the better hugger?
Oh, Blake, he likes back hugs. Do you know what a back hug is?
Yeah. I always give a back hug to my husband.
I go to give
like
him a hug. If I go to give him a hug like this is what Blake does. He goes,
Oh.
he gives me his back.
Oh, that is so funny. That's really cute.
It's an offer. It's an offer.
Oh my God.
You, Carson.
That is true.
I'm going to start doing that to people. See what they say.
I know, right?
I mean, actually, I should be doing that right now.
You make a lot of people's day.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.